and welcome to H2O Global News, where we talk about all things water. Today, we are speaking with John Hepfinger, head of Henkel's Water and Civil Infrastructure Group. He'll be telling us about the group and how it provides tailored solutions for common challenges. Hi, John. Really nice to meet you. So to kick off, could you give us some background about yourself and your role?
Sure. Well, great to meet you, Martin, as well, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
the opportunity. So I've actually been working in the underground construction trenchless area for about 26 years. Started out within telecom side of business. An opportunity came along within the company number of years ago with a new acquisition to get into the water, sewer, stormwater side of the business. And I was asked to take over this group. And that was a pretty much a new start or a startup, a new group that really try and build something new, new technologies that really hadn't been used before, and that people are trying to look for new ways of doing things. And so took over that, really from inception, grew it, and have been working through that for the last 13 years through a couple different companies, really the same technologies and same group that have moved from into private equity and then back into a great strategic partner and great company like Henkel.
Excellent. So just briefly, to give a broad overview, how does Henkel serve the water sector and what sort of customers do you work with?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously water and sewer and this whole sector is an area that Henkel has participated in for a long time. Like the company's 150 years old this year, which is important and a great milestone and shows the history and strength of the company. Um, so there's been bits and pieces, and this is really a area that Henkel decided that they wanted to get into several years ago, really focus on, and so they started making acquisitions into this space. So really what we're doing is building upon the base and platform that Henkel uh, created and developing and bringing a suite and portfolio solutions to the market uh, in a more uh, how do I say it, in a more focused manner and in a way that creates really a good structure for our customers, and we can look at across a broad spectrum of problems or issues or even opportunities that our customers are looking to make. So within the broad spectrum of Henkel, it allows us to do it not only regionally, whether it's in North America, Europe, IMEA, APAC, or whichever within those regions, but also share technologies across regions that where maybe something has been developed in the Middle East that we can bring into Europe or Latin America.
Excellent. So just to go into a bit more detail, so why was the Water and Civil Infrastructure Group created? And could you give
Sure.
us a rundown on some of the companies and products under the umbrella?
Definitely. So the reason for the creation of this group is really to bring the technologies and become more of a market facing type group. A lot of our groups have been or our technologies really technology focused, right? We were in our little silos thinking about this is this is the right technology for this solution. But as we've acquired and brought together different technologies, different groups, different ways of going into asset owners, there's really a way to bring together a cohesive approach, not only for the company, but also for our customers, so that we didn't have competing people coming in or confusion, and really make some alignment for our customers. So if you think about it, we have groups like our geotree geopolymers, our fiber reinforced structural strengthening products that traditionally would be under a Fife or a Renew Wrap brand or ABT Easy Valves. So we may have similar customers, we may have the same customer, and we're going in we may have multiple people going into that same customer, maybe calling on different people within that same customer, whether it's a municipality or a engineering firm. And so here we can bring alignment and say, okay, here's the opportunities or what's your problems, and look through the suite of solutions instead of trying to, be I'm going to say one trick pony or a just one technology. And this way we create more value for our customers in the terms of they can see the different types of products. And this not only goes to what I traditionally run, but also into our other areas where, with Henkel Seal for Life acquisition, that brings Stopack and Life Last and our infrastructure coatings group, that we have now a very broad capability to go into customers. And we're still integrating and still bringing those together where it fits, where the right things and where it should fit, and also trying to think about where it doesn't fit and try not to create something that is not a benefit to the customers, right? That's where we try and think about from the face of the customer back, and whether our customer is a consulting engineer, a contractor, a municipality, an industrial facility, they each have different um, they each have different needs, requirements, way they like to work. Again, this is all on a global basis, so it's very bespoke type of application and the way approach to our customers. Of course, we want to scale as much as we can, but we try and really think about taking that customer viewpoint back, and that's why we really, long story is getting back to that's why we're market facing. This is why we have created this to really think about it from the customer's point of view instead of a technology forward.
Excellent. So, expanding on your customers,
Yeah.
what are the common challenges your customers face, and how do you guide them towards an optimal solution?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the product. One of those things we always have is it depends, and it depends upon the customer. They have many problems. They have aging assets. They have, a lot of these systems were designed to be 40 years old, 50 years old design life. Many are in 70, 80, 100 plus years old, which goes great to the engineering and the construction methods and things that were done, years and years past. So what we're trying to look at, or the areas that they have problems are, is, as these age, as they start to fail, they have, leaking water. They're, obviously water is one of the most precious things we have on Earth. The loss of water is significant, whether you're, in the Western US or in India or in the Middle East or in China, so APAC. So you have a different concerns on that. So water loss, leaks, infiltration, you have corrosion of your assets. And so the whole idea is to extend the life of the assets. Everyone's challenged on budgets. Our customers are trying to look at ways they can get more life out of their existing assets. And as taxpayers, as other people within the group, it's important, we have personal thinking of how can we be more efficient with the funding? How can we help our the owners get more out of what they've done? There's always got to do construct new construction, but how can we create that opportunity for them to use their budgets more wisely and or stretch their budgets, do more with less, or be able to do those projects and do more projects that enable we all want to have our systems and our assets growing. We don't like our water turned off. We don't like our sewers turned off, sewer issues, all those types of things. So it's really, our customers see many, many different aspects. And one of the things is how do you not disrupt your constituents' lives? How do you and keep the public services that you've promised going?
Excellent. So one common theme of your department is rehabilitation rather than replacement. So to expand on your previous point, how can this help companies maximize their resources and target budgets where they're most needed?
Yeah, I mean, again, we all live on budgets. We all live on areas that we don't have infinite funds. So a lot of times it's trade-offs. You're making trade-offs of I can do this or that. I can do this construction or I can do these two or three projects. So as we allow our customers to think about more in the rehabilitation side of things, how can we strengthen bridges? How can we strengthen sewers? How can we make that asset live longer? We're allowing our customers to again work within the confines of the budgets, do more work than maybe they had planned to. Often rehabilitation is orders of magnitude less expensive than new construction. The permitting requirements are less, the environmental impact is less, the disruption to the community is less. So it really creates that opportunity for the asset owners. And again, this can be industrial, can be municipal, can be a Department of Transportation. There's many, many customers that we don't see as the public. There's assets and things that we don't see, and if we don't see it, a lot of times it's out of mind, but it's top of mind for the people that are working in those areas. And you've got some great people really trying to think of ways of extending the life of these assets such that we can um, yeah, be ready for the next generation of 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 people coming along.
Excellent. So just to dig into your expertise a little bit, can you help companies shift capex into opex?
Yeah, I mean, look, we do both. Henkel we do both, right? We help companies save in their capex, uh, and or uh, and or asset owners, whether it's different linings, coatings, or whatever. So when they're doing that first capex or that first new construction, how do they have the right materials and right approaches and solutions to give them a longer design life there. My group, we focus on rehabilitation and strengthening, right? And so the idea is we're not trying to take from CapEx, but if they can deploy, again, like I said, we're magnitudes less expensive doing rehabilitation versus new construction. You can do more rehabilitation projects. You can do strengthening. You can get that water line, um, that you're worried about corrosion or you're worried about um, the strength of it over time and or abrasion or some of those other areas that you've got that our customers have problems with, that we can have a solution for that. So you're not really I would love everything to be real rehabilitation. Again, it's less disruptive to the community typically, but a lot of times you need that capex. So it's a trade-off. We work with our customers to help them decide what are the options. And we've had times where they've looked at new construction and said, look, we can rehabilitate it for much less. Let's go this direction. A lot of it's got to be proof and it takes a lot of engineering, testing, data behind it to kind of give that support of this is the right thing. Um, but is it always the right thing? No. And a lot of times there is new construction because you need it, and you've got to spend you've got to either expand. Typically, it's because you're expanding the use. You've got more people, so you need more volume, more capacity in those aspects. But we can always, look at options, and there's many different solutions out there, and typically there will be a rehabilitation technology that gives that customer an option for it.
Excellent. So, do you have any good examples and case studies of your sort of products and solutions in action? And what did you learn from them?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got hundreds and hundreds of projects, whether in North America, Europe, IMEA, India, whichever, all over the world. Um, I think of a couple just in terms of we've seen, you know, projects where there's one that occurred in the Toronto region, 40 meters, 45-meter deep, 3 kilometers long, new construction, and this was a fairly new construction product, probably system only maybe 15, 20 years old, that was already starting to have issues and failure. And so to think about how do we come back and repair and rehabilitate this system, there's many different ways they could have done it. One, you didn't want to really do it, but you had water infiltration coming in that is creating more stress on the wastewater treatment plant because you're just sending in water that didn't need to go there. So you're worried a little bit about leakage of sewer out, but more so you've got infiltration water coming in. And so using our Loctite geospray technology, which is a geopolymer for lining, structural relining, uh, relining sewer, stormwater pipes, water pipes, those types of things, typically large diameter. Uh, we're talking, it was the savings of tens of millions versus other rehabilitation technologies to do this. You could slip line, which would be putting in new pipe within the pipe or new sections of pipe, but that would have created, you would have had to dig shafts, create that, get those strengthened, and then push and get along, and they'd actually lose more capacity, water capacity that way. So in terms of that one, very important, very big project, was actually part of 2 or 3 phases, and there's still potential for more to come with that. One of the things we've learned on that is, you start thinking about the stakeholders, multiple stakeholders. Again, you're thinking about not only the asset owner in the region, but you're thinking about what's the impact to the community. You're thinking about what's the impact to the installation, the installers, the contractor partners. How can you help them be more efficient? How can you think about the materials? It's not just materials. The materials, that's what we do. But we are actually working with the equipment suppliers. We're working with the other material suppliers that maybe we have to have different, are we compatible with other materials, water stop materials, or things that they may be doing? So it's really it's just not your system, it's how do you impact and how are you working through all these stakeholders and constituencies in there. I think that's one of the biggest pieces. In terms of we do projects in water and pressure pipes in Europe, in Spain. And so dealing with that, how are you able to get in there in a quick amount of time? Because you're thinking about disruption, right? This is water. Sewer's a little bit different. We can work around that. Water, people need water. So how can you do this quickly? How can you minimize the impact? What's the engineering? What's the strengthening? How are you going to do it to make it long term? There's many different standards, and we typically are helping set those standards because we want to continue to raise the bar with our customers on what are the types of solutions, and make sure we're all meeting at least minimum levels of performance. But obviously, we always want to continue to raise performance because it's creating value for the asset owner in terms of goodwill, in terms of keeping the public trust and continuing to support the public, and also creating value for the engineers. They have another tool in the toolbox, and also the construction installation partners who are building, and they've got to continue to develop their business. So how do we help them create value? We also do in terms of, just one that was recent in terms of our easy valves, our AVT easy valves, where was that one of our customers was able to install, and these are valves that go on live water pipes. They don't stop the water, so you can keep the water. You don't have to turn it off to a building. They go on and are installed quickly, and we were able to, with one of our installation partners, to add 10 insertion valves in one day, which was unheard of. And so having that value where they can come do the work, add the access points or add the control points that they need, and then come back and do it all in one day and make it very easy for our customers and move on. So that allows the contractor to actually do more, right? They can do the next project and take on more projects, and it solves a problem for the owner, the municipality, very quickly, that could take weeks, and we're able to work with our partners and do it in hours in a day. So what we, kind of getting back to what we've learned is it's just not our solution. We're just a part of many, many, many aspects, and we have to have good communication and good partners. One of my sayings is we're only as good as our contractor partner, and the contractor's partner is only as good as the material. So we have to have that symbiotic relationship and support to ensure that we have success, because nobody wants a failure. Nobody wants to come back. People are trusting us that we're going to give 50, 75, 100-year design life. And that's what we're staking our reputation on. We're not trying to sell that one project. That doesn't help anyone. We've all got corporate reputation. I've got personal reputation, that we're trying to do what the right thing is.
Excellent. So just to pick up on your Spanish example, um,
Yeah.
why are you expanding the W&CI into Europe, and what are the main opportunities and challenges?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, the technologies that as smaller companies, prior to Henkel, we were North American focused, right? And that was really, we didn't have the scale nor opportunity to move to new geographies. We were opportunistic. Now with Henkel as a well-known, respected company across the globe, we have the assets and resources to make these moves. And so while we've had opportunities, we've already seen in the last 2 years more and more opportunities, and the need for the technologies that we've had in North America, and to be able to bring those into other regions. It's not easy. Uh, Europe's Europe's not just Europe. It's you may have directives overall, but each individual country acts a little bit different. You've got standards. You've got maybe country standards, regional standards. You've got other local standards that you need to navigate. You've got embedded technologies or embedded companies that have been there prior to us. So the good thing is with Henkel, we have that credibility. Again, we've got a long history. Like I said, we've got hundreds and hundreds of projects and many of our technologies that we can show, hey, we've done this before. We know what we're going through. Here's a solution. I've had conversations with many water water districts and municipalities in various countries within Europe already. And they're just looking for these opportunities because they may have one solution and again, it's just another tool in the tool. A lot of this is another tool in the toolbox, and this is said a lot, but there's great solutions maybe to a certain size as you get us above a certain diameter pipe, or you get into a situation that you can't turn off the water. So the insertion valves is a great deal. We've got a corrosion issue, so we can use the life last materials from Seal for Life, or we can use the different technologies, whether it's FRP or geopolymer. So it makes sense for us. We're growing globally. It's just not Europe, but it's an important piece. It's not easy. It shouldn't be easy. We're talking again about engineered structural solutions. So you just don't come in and okay, sell a material here and there. But we have extensive testing. We've probably done more testing than many of some of our competitors combined. So we understand this. We do not put out information unless we've got testing and data to support it. And so we take a fairly methodical approach. We don't want to get too far out beyond our skis, so to speak, such that, again, we've got to be able to support the installers. We have to have a good installation network and partners that we can trust, that we know are going to do work, that are certified, we certify and train, and make sure that they do the work the way we expect it to be done, in the way the customer, the asset owner. We have three customers. We think about it, the asset owner is the ultimate one, the engineer, and then the contractor is typically the one we have the transaction with. But and then we have the public is our other customer. That's kind of the hidden customer to us. So great opportunity. Very excited about it. We've been well received already. And now it's just how do we, with the good things about Henkel is we're aligned to support the growth of these technologies.
Excellent. Well, as someone living in Europe, I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops over the next few years. So I'd like to say, well, thank you. I've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the talk. So thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you.
Pleasure. Anytime. I'm glad. Again, thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward to really expanding in Europe.